Hello, 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 ladies and gentlemen. This is Moltrap coming at ya, and this is going to be a very, very, very special commentary because this is going to be marking 2 years, the 2 year mark. I have been, hopefully, I'm going to actually try and upload this video to the minute, but it'll probably be, at least within an hour of exactly 2 years from the point in time when I uploaded my first StarCraft commentary video, and wow! So I'm gonna actually, as a kind of a fun thing to do in recognition of that point in time 2 years ago, I'm actually going to be re-commenting the same game that I did for my first commentary, and re-commentating that game, and so it should be fun. I actually don't remember what that was. I don't remember what happened in that game, although once they start watching it, I may remember. But anyways, it was Flash versus Bisu, so it's going to be a good game regardless. I don't remember who won that game, though. But anyway, I'm just going to wax a little bit here about my commentating history, just for fun here, because I've been thinking about it a lot lately. Like I said, coming up on 2 years, and when I first started commentating, I had no idea, I had no clue that it would end up being like such a big part of my life, and I didn't really. Yeah, I mean, I didn't know if I was going to keep doing it or whatever. I just kind of figured I'd try it out. Basically, back then, I was watching a lot of games. I was watching a ton of games. And I just, like I said in that first commentary, I fell in love with the pro scene and just watched everything I could get my eyes on. And basically, like, I'd started off, I got into the scene actually because of Klazart, watching his English commentaries. And then I kind of watched everything Klazart had done, but I kind of got enough of what the pro scene was like from his commentaries that I started watching them in Korean and was able to get a decent idea of how the strategy worked, and a very basic idea at the very least. And so what I started doing is I started, thinking about like how it worked and like how the strategies worked. And so I found myself like watching the Korean games and like thinking about like what I would say if I was like commentating it. And so one day I'm like, you know what? Every time I watch a Korean game, all the time I'm always like thinking about like what I would be saying if I was doing a commentary. So I figured I'd actually try it out, and I discovered what a lot of people don't appreciate, to be honest, is that it's actually a lot more difficult to commentate something as you're watching it than it is to think about it later after the fact, or even just to think about it while you're watching, because then you can pay more attention to the watching. And people, it sounds kind of dumb, I guess, but it actually takes a decent amount of concentration to think about what you're saying while you're saying it as well, and how to phrase it and that kind of thing. And so it's hard to do more than one thing at once. So anyway, I guess a little bit of a defense on my part there, but yeah. So I tried it out, and basically I pretty much sucked at it. I was going back, and I can't even stand to listen to very much of my earlier commentaries because I feel so self-conscious about them when I listened to them, because I was just really, like, when I first started, I sounded really bored, and I got to be honest, I didn't really know a lot about what I was talking about, and I got a lot of criticism early on because I didn't know. People said, "Oh, you don't know what you're talking about," and I tried to defend myself a lot, and I had some fair points for my own defense, but at the same time, I know so much more about professional StarCraft strategy now than I did back then. It really, I back then that was noob mole trap. Newbie mole trap was the started commentating, and I think I've evolved a lot in my game knowledge since then. And of course, I still don't know everything, and I still probably make mistakes, but I'm pretty sure that I have a much more solid understanding of the game now. I'm kind of proud of that. But anyway, yeah, back then, so I didn't know a whole lot about what I was talking about, and I was sounded kind of bored. I wasn't used to it, anything like that. Didn't have much energy in my voice. So I guess, like I said, just on after 2 years of it, thinking about it, I really do think I've improved a lot. And my point, though, is that the reason why I've improved a lot, the reason why I've kept going, like I said, I just tried it out just to see what would happen. And there was a lot of haters at the beginning, but there was also a ton of people that gave me a lot of support and were like, "Yeah, go Moltrop. This is great that you're doing this. Keep doing it." And those are the people that kept me going. Those are the people that kept me doing commentary. And I've always received lots of hate from people, and it's always been in the back of my mind that if I listen to them, then they win, and if I listen to them and I stop, then I'm going to be disappointing all these other people. For every one person that complains, there's another 10 that are thanking me for what I'm doing, and so I didn't want to let those people down, even though some people were really, really upset at me and didn't like my stuff at all. I figured that, I would be letting some people down if I stopped just because of the whiners. And so really, I think I've said this before, but I'll say it again. I'll reemphasize that is the reason why I've kept commentating for so long, for all this time, for both these 2 years, is because of the support that I've gotten. So I really do appreciate it. And I'm not just fishing. You guys don't have to be like, oh, we love you, keep doing it, or anything like that. I'm just saying that, like, that's kind of in what's in the back of my mind. That's the reason why I've kept doing it despite having a lot of criticism, that kind of thing. Anyway, so yeah, and I guess I also had some criticism early on because I used to, as older fans often, well, not often, but sometimes mention, I used to actually curse a lot in my commentaries, and I was known as the cursing commentator early on, actually, because Diggity, I had the idea at first, actually. I told Diggity, he's like, oh yeah, I should do that too, because he and I are old friends, and he actually uploaded his first commentary the day after I did mine, so I've technically been doing a little bit longer than him by several hours only, but that doesn't really count for much. But he did not curse, and I did, and so I got some flack back then. Also, Klazart kind of went through the same thing. He actually started off doing a little bit of cursing in his games, and then he stopped cursing. So I was the only cursing commentator, and I got a lot of flack for that. And I ended up deciding, I went through a period where I was kind of mocking people for making fun of my cursing and trying to say, well, you know what, deal with it. And people did not get those at all. I tried to prove a point by, first I made a commentary where I said the entire game I did not say a single curse word, but I was as offensive as I could possibly be. I was using all kinds of ridiculous terms and talking about disgusting things, and it's just to prove that it's not the curse words themselves that are lewd. It's the content. And then I also did another commentary called the Effentary, which the actual real word for the F word, where I was just cursed almost nonstop the entire time. I was doing the commentary as well, and people just got so bent out of shape over those two games. No one realized that I was just trying to make a point. Well, some people did, but not very many. By the way, the Effentary has since been taken down, so don't go looking for it. But after that, I kind of decided to stop cursing, and the reason why I eventually settled on it, even though I was kind of upset that people were so bent out of shape over what were just words, is I wanted to make my commentaries more accessible. And I think someone brought up, the concept that they wanted to watch them at work, or they wanted to watch them near their kids, and that sort of thing. And so that made a lot of sense, and that's what eventually actually made me decide to stop cursing in my commentaries. And so now I've let one slip here and there, but I've been trying. I generally try to make sure that my commentators are pretty PG rated.